If you've made it here, you're on your way to discovering the secrets of how to become a permanent makeup entrepreneur powerhouse. But first, allow me to introduce myself. I'm Nurse Tracy, a licensed registered nurse and licensed cosmetic tattoo artist in Vermont and Florida. I'm Vermont's first in-state, state-approved permanent makeup trainer and a diamond certified trainer from the American Academy of Micropigmentation. When I became a registered nurse in 2008, if you had told me that one day I would quit that job to tattoo faces for a living, I would have laughed right in your face. I started my career in labor and delivery, and I loved every minute of it for the first few years. After a decade of backbreaking labor, I realized that there had to be a better way to pay the bills. I booked a microblading appointment for myself as a treat after struggling for years with sparse brows. I spent years filling in my eyebrows with insecurities about getting picked on for the shape, especially when they smudged off. I remember lying on that chair and looking up at the artist and thinking to myself, she's doing a very similar procedure to what I would be doing at the hospital, but there's no physician supervising, no annoying call bells ringing. That's when I immediately left the appointment, drove home, and looked up the requirements to become a licensed cosmetic tattoo artist in my home state of Vermont. It was 2019 and permanent makeup became my side hustle. It was a way to make money outside of the hospital with hopes of blossoming into a new career one day. That's when COVID hit. My business was just starting to grow and I was shut down for 3 months. During that time is when I was also laid off from my nursing job. While this may be surprising to some, I was in a small state that was very isolated and unaffected during the early period of COVID. Healthcare workers were furloughed because elective procedures were canceled, and everybody was afraid to go to the hospital unless it was an absolutely dire situation. It was during those 3 months at home, with all of that uncertainty, that I dove 12 hours a day into growing my social media, taking free marketing courses, and learning paramedical, eyeliner, and lip blush tattoo procedures. When I returned full-time to nursing, and was able to return to tattooing in June of 2020, I knew that my heart was no longer in the nursing profession. Hospital policies and procedures were changing every day, wearing masks for 12 hours was absolutely awful, and suddenly clocking into work, despite the benefits and the certainty of a paycheck, was absolute torture. I was miserable except when I was in my own studio working with my clients, doing what I loved. That's when I knew I had to make a change. Either I stayed miserable in healthcare or I took the leap and committed my life to PMU. In January of 2021, I quit my nursing job and I opened a tattoo studio on Main Street of my hometown in Newport, Vermont. Since then, I've become a trainer to over 60 women in basic and advanced permanent makeup and now permanent jewelry techniques. And I've also moved to North Florida, where I also offer services and trainings while still traveling home to see my clients up in Vermont. One thing that I underestimated when beginning this unique beauty industry was that I'm not just learning the skill of tattoo, regardless of if I work for myself or work for another. I'm now the scheduler, I'm the inventory manager, I'm the photographer, I'm the marketing director, the social media manager, the website developer, and so much more. As your beauty business grows, you can outsource a lot of these services and give up the things that you hate to do the most. But what you can never give up is your search of perfection in the skill sets that you choose to offer. The worst mistake an artist can make is believing there's no room for improvement, that they are the best at everything that they do. We are constantly learning how to offer new skills with new tools and techniques on very different skin types. So we must never become complacent, and we must constantly seek perfection to satisfy our clients, past, present, and future. Whether you've just discovered permanent makeup, you're on your journey as a new permanent makeup or paramedical tattoo artist, or you're a veteran in the PMU industry, we'll discuss all the topics that you need to become a permanent makeup entrepreneur powerhouse. Consider this your PMU Entrepreneur Bible. Disclaimer: while I am a multi-hyphenate, I am passionate about many specialties within the beauty industry. However, What I am most certainly not is an accountant or a lawyer or a member of your licensing body in your region. I'm also honored that if I am your PMU trainer and you're listening to this, that you refer back to your specific training, especially if I'm not your permanent makeup trainer. Regardless of what we discuss, you need to focus on best practice. Someone could also argue that you would be better off and more successful doing the exact opposite of what I suggest. This is especially true as new styles and techniques of PMU and paramedical tattoo emerge from incredible artists all over the globe. Always investigate the sources of information you choose to implement in your practice to ensure they meet standards for cosmetic tattoo professionals not only in your region, but across the world. Acceptable bloodborne pathogen and cross-contamination prevention principles should not vary widely between service regions, as the risk factors associated with the spread are well known and preventable when followed. Always practice tattoo and PMU according to the country, county, and state laws where applicable in your region. Please remember that practicing ethically is not only in the best interest of you and your business, but is also paramount to growing a trusting clientele that will rave about you for years to come. So with that being said, let's start the business basics. It would be wrong of me to start this without stating at the very beginning the business basics. Any business owner worth their weight in salt will tell you the very same thing. Once you've determined that you want to start a business, you need to secure an LLC and an EIN. An LLC is a limited liability company. A limited liability company is a business or a name that you create for yourself in the eyes of the state and federal government. An LLC separates your business from your professional finances and any accounts that are shared with family members that are not associated with your business. An LLC usually only costs a few $100s to file in the state that you choose to practice, and most landlords and licensing agencies will request to verify LLC information from you prior to allowing you to open a standalone business location to decrease their own professional liability. An EIN, or the IRS's Employer Identification Number, also allows you to write off business expenses and make the government aware of self-employment revenue and therefore any taxes that they wish to collect from you. While it may seem appealing not to let the government know that you're collecting additional income, it's a surefire way to keep your business from growing and expanding. If we're opening a business, we can't pretend that we're opening a mom and pop shop. We have to act like we're opening the next Amazon hub. That means that you need to go big and plan for big things. So bite the bullet and tell Uncle Sam about your new EIN that matches your LLC's name exactly, and consider yourself officially open for business. Now, some people may encourage you to go the corporation route, but it's completely unnecessary unless you've consulted with an accountant and an attorney that suggests that this is the best business structure pathway for you. If you act as a corporation when you truly are a sole proprietor, which most permanent makeup and paramedical tattoo artists are when starting out, you can actually accrue severe tax penalties for improper filing of corporate documents inside strict quarterly timeframes. Depending on which state you train or work in, you may be able to take a training towards licensure before applying for a cosmetic tattoo license. While some regions allow you to work under the trainer's license, others demand you apply for a license independently before working on human skin. Follow your region's regulations for licensure, ensuring that you're working on clients legally at all times, especially when early on and beginning your career. Tattooing from home is never a good look, and it diminishes your respect among other artists and future clients in your community. Many states require an apprenticeship after training, which is part of the licensure process to ensure that a new artist has professional supervision before working independently with the public. Apprenticeships can help artists get quick and easy answers as they work with their initial clientele. Apprenticeship supervisors can also help the public feel more comfortable working with a new artist, knowing that somebody is there to back them up. Even if an apprenticeship is not required in your state or country before you begin to practice independently, seek out mentors, whether it be in person or online, to help you to continue to grow in your artistry as you develop over time. In Vermont, students must complete a 60-hour state-approved course and then complete a 40-hour licensed apprenticeship to be independently licensed to practice cosmetic tattoo. To become a body artist in Vermont, there is no training program. The individual must seek out a licensed tattoo artist that is qualified to complete a 1,000-hour licensed apprenticeship. This is how they become an independently licensed body artist. In Florida, where I also work and train, there is no training requirement or apprenticeship requirement for cosmetic or body art tattoo licensure. These are the vast differences in the tattoo community. Once you begin working on skin with clients, you should invest in professional liability insurance. While tattoo is not inherently dangerous, we are performing a subjective service on sensitive parts of the body. This can affect how somebody intimately feels about themselves for years to come. Knowing that we live in a litigious world where people want to especially threaten a lawsuit, protecting your assets is a reasonable step as a new or experienced business owner. In addition to insurance, the artist should also have consent forms available for the clients to complete prior to the procedure and aftercare forms for them to take home for reference. The consent form acts as another layer of protection, giving the permanent makeup artist permission to tattoo the client with the understanding that there could be complications, including infection and dissatisfaction with the final result. Consent forms are usually required to be saved for 2 years after working with the client and should be kept on file if you have any concerns about a client lawsuit. Consent forms also list whether the client allows you to use photography and videography online for marketing purposes and questions about the client's medical history. In many cases, the consent form can protect an artist from liability if the client has concerns or complaints after the PMU treatment is over. The consent form should clearly state that the client understands the risks and benefits of seeking a cosmetic tattoo or paramedical tattoo procedure, and that they're willing to undertake those risks in order to have the procedure performed by the artist. Even if we do the most amazing work, there are a number of reasons why the client may be dissatisfied in the end, and all we can do is protect ourselves and continue to perform to the best of our abilities. Aftercare forms should be sent with the client, also restating that there are risks or complications inherent to the procedure, and that the client should be looking out for them as they heal. This includes any additional bruising, bleeding, signs and symptoms of infection, and how to care for the new tattoo. Proper tattoo aftercare will prevent any complications from the use of contaminated products or continuing any lifestyle activities such as swimming and exercise. Aftercare forms should include how to get back in touch with the artist if they have any concerns that are listed on the aftercare form. Stay tuned as we go into Chapter 2 in the next episode, coming up here next. And make sure you subscribe and click the like button to get any new updates on upcoming chapters on the PMU Entrepreneur Bible.